Hello guys, in this video Hello guys, in this video I would like to talk about how to escape the saddle, or called also cross sashigurami, and it's one of the worst positions to find yourself, and I would like to show you how to escape it. So you're gonna be in a saddle position. So let's talk about what his objectives are for him to finish me. First of all, there is a rule in Jiu-Jitsu. If you want to break a joint, you need to control the joint above. So in the case of a leg attack, even if he can break both my ankle and my knee, so he has to make sure that he has my hip under control. And a good mark for that control is the knee line. So what is the knee line? The knee line is the imaginary line of the opponent's knees in comparison to my knee. So his knees towards my head are above my knee. That means that my leg is under control. Now, what he wants, especially if he wants to finish with a heel hook, he wants to grab my heel with his forearm and start breaking it. Okay. And of course, he's also looking for our secondary leg. As he knows that 95% of defense comes from the secondary leg. So now we're in a double trouble position. So for certain, we don't want to end up there. So the moment we see that somebody has us in a saddle, what I like to do, of course, I like to hide my heel by turning in. Okay, that's always the rule. Every time you're in a leg entanglement where a heel can be performed, you want to turn your heel towards their back. And that of course changes if we are in 50-50 or in outside Ashigurami, because your heel will face different threats, like for example inside heel hook and outside heel hook. So you have to turn your heel in different position. But again, I want to hide my heel so they cannot grab me easily. But I don't just like to hide my heel, I also like to bump him forward a little bit. So that will cause his hands to be a bit heavier and my leg to be away at the same time. So as I see this, I bump him and bring my heel very close to his butt and hide it. So now for him to grab my heel, he has to go head on the floor, belly down, and chase it. All right, that gives us the time to start our escape. Now I'm gonna show you one escape and one counter. Now, I talked to you before about the knee line. That's one of the things we have to reverse engineer to take the heel hook away from him. So the first thing we do, we want to push this knee out. Also, that will help us to bring this leg on the other side. At the moment, look, I really have to be super flexible to bring this leg to bring this leg in, because the knee is in the way. So first we push it down. Now, if my opponent is not focused on his leg, sometimes it's easy to push it down. Make sure your thumb is inside the knee. If you just go with your palm, you can just push forward against my hand, push open your knee, and you can sleep. With the thumb inside instead, it's very hard. Another very important detail is to keep your arm stiff. You see, his leg is stronger than my hand. If my arm is bent and he pushes, I won't win this battle. But the moment my arm is stiff, it's not fighting my muscle anymore, it's fighting the structure of my bones. Okay? So this is a bony strength. Unless he can crush my bones in half, he will not be able to beat my arm with his leg. All right? Now, sometimes it can happen that he's very, very conscious about his leg and he's really already pushing a little bit against me, so it's very hard to push it away. So what I like to do, I like to extend my arm in a negative movement. What do I mean by that? I mean that instead of pushing his leg away, keep like tense, I will push my body away to allow my arm to stretch and go into a bony structure. So now when I push back and I stiff my other arm, it's very hard for him to push against my arm. Now, once I bring his knee down, it's very easy for me to bring this foot behind him. So the problem is that your leg is isolated. And when you want to defend any attack, you have to bring your limbs together. So as I push his knee down, I will bring my legs together. And now this will allow me to turn away from him. Here. Now, it's very important that you keep turning away from your opponent and keep the knee down as long as you can. Now, don't keep your foot flexed, but extend it. So when you try to pull your leg out, doesn't get stuck with your foot. Now when you're ready, you're gonna bring your left foot behind his butt and your hand on the floor. You're gonna push his butt strong, and at the same time you pull your leg away. Even if he's all tight, as a yank, you push, I can get free, and then I can face him. You can yank and push stronger than what I did, but I had a surgery on my knee, and I cannot push harder than that at the moment. So let's show this one more time. As I see he has a saddle on me, the first thing I do is bump him forward, making his hands heavy, and get my leg away. Then we think about the knee, stiff the arm, and push his knee away. Bring your leg together and turn away. As you're ready, push his back, yank your leg out, and strut away, face him, bring your legs away, and you're ready to pass the guard again. Now, following the principle of Gary Tonnen, he says, don't just try to escape positions, but also every time somebody puts you in a bad position, try to counter. So that allows you to break what is called the offensive cycle of your opponent, where he attacks and attacks, and break your defensive cycle, where you're defending and defending. You can break their offensive cycle by breaking your own defensive cycle and turn the table into you having an offensive cycle from a defensive cycle and put your partner in defensive cycle. So how are we gonna do that? We will use his saddle to take his back. It's a very classic move. I don't expect this to be novel, but it's always interesting to speak about it and show it. So again, as I see that I'm in this position, I'm going to bump him forward and hide my heel. We're gonna do everything the same. We're gonna kick his leg away. We're gonna bring our legs together. We're gonna face away. At this time, for some reason I cannot pull out or I want to counter. So I'm going to bring my leg back, and if he's holding my leg, I'm gonna kick his elbow out and bring my knee in front of his belly. You should find yourself with a knee very tight to his belly, and on the back of your knee connected to the back of his knee. Now you can see that I have one arm closer to his head and one arm closer to his leg. I want to roll on the side of the arm closer to his head onto my shoulder and face up. Now when you find yourself in this position, don't face your partner. That will give him the opportunity to bring his back on the floor and start sliding away from you, and you lose the back. You want to be, once you're here, facing the ceiling, your knees facing the ceiling, almost facing away from you. And also, what you want to do, you want to bring your feet strong together, here. You see what happens? As I have a very strong connection to his belly and to the back of his knee, I'm leveraging his femur. It's like I'm almost scissoring to break his femur in half, and that will allow the hip to come off the floor. So again, look, as I face up and bring my foot on the floor, leveraging his femur, his hips comes up. Now from here we want to have some sort of upper body control, and we want to manipulate the hip at the same time. So what I like to do, I like to go with my hand behind his waist and one hand on the trap and push him down here. Now you need to bring the first hook, so the bottom hook. So we change the leg here and here. Now before you try to choke him or put the second hook, make sure that you have what is called a diagonal control. You see, if I don't control the other side, as I have a left hook inside, it will turn away straight away. Don't make the mistake of controlling the same side or where you have the hook, it will still turn away. Very easy. So the first thing you should do before you put the second hook, get control on the other side of the upper body. So you have what is called a diagonal control, where I'm controlling the lower body on the left and the upper body on the right. All right. So if he tries to turn towards me on the side, try to turn towards me, he can't. If he tries to turn away from me, he can't. Right. Now from here we can go for a choke that will usually distract him, so we can bring the second hook inside. Or I also like to go under his armpit to bring his body away from the floor, and instead of bringing the other hook, I like to bring this foot in the middle so I can go for a body triangle. Now we can close. One more time, you're gonna be in saddle. You're gonna do everything that I explained so far. You're gonna bump him forward, get the legs together, and turn away. Usually you cannot escape if you want because he's holding your foot. At the same time, our objective is not to just escape, but to counter. So I move weight to my hand, so I can make my leg slide and push on the back of his elbow. And bring my knee in front of his belly, tightly. And this leg is clamping a little bit. Now from here, as I turn, I bring my knees up towards the sky. I bring my foot down, together on the floor. If he tries to turn to roll away or do anything, it's very hard. The only thing he can do is jump towards me. So if you see that, pushes it down and make him fall in between your legs on your lap. But if he doesn't do much, we start controlling. Look, at the moment I cannot reach his upper body on the trap. I can control the hand a little bit, it's fine. Until I bring him forward a little bit. Then I can start climbing my way up and bring his hip on the floor in between my legs. And observe how I already changed my hook there. And then look, the first thing I do is called a claw. I control the shoulder on the upper side. So I have diagonal control with a claw. Okay, this is a short claw. Long claw is when you grab the neck and lift him up. You can use these in other occasions. I'll show you when I explain the backs even better. Now from here, he's gonna close his knee to his chest. He's not gonna allow me to bring the hook inside. But sometimes if you distract them with a choke, that will open space for the second hook to come in, and then we can establish. One more time. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. More videos to come.